Hello and welcome to Metal Gear Explained. It is 2026 and man, oh man, what a year we have coming forward. I believe there's tons of stuff happening with Metal Gear in the background as Konami has had built a whole new development building, not a quick studio, just took over a big building and a bunch of stuff. And you know, they've really been pushing the Metal Gear franchise more than ever. So it's pretty exciting and interesting. And today I want to kind of just do a general update about the Metal Gear series as well as a personal one. And just thank you guys so much for your love and support. 2025 has been the most amazing year for Metal Gear fans to finally get a remake for a masterpiece and then also get, you know, the chance to see that Metal Gear is being thought of and pushed forward by Konami. So that means a lot. At the same time, I had probably one of the worst years of my life. There was so many things that happened. I've lost 4 people I love in 1 year. I had injuries and health issues. I had so many things going on that I couldn't even explain in one video to be a long one. And my heart's been broken. My spirit was broken. It's been rough. I actually even had the channel, this very channel, get its first strike ever over some nonsense that I didn't see an email and ended up getting a strike by accident. And it is what it is. But that being said, it's 2026. We made it out alive. I felt like, you know, Big Boss in Snake Eater, trying to survive all the war, the struggle, the stress, even the emotional heartbreak that he goes through being betrayed by the one he loves most. All of that really related to me on a personal note. And I laugh about it now because I'm healing and I'm getting better. And, you know, my eye patch is helping and my prosthetic arm is helping. And, you know, the nano machines are kicking in for 2026. All jokes aside, yeah, I'm grateful for my community. I'm grateful for gaming in general. It's been a big part of my life with a lot of the stuff that I do. A lot of stuff I do is offline. A lot of the stuff I do is not here on these videos, and I do apologize for that. I'm actually going to change that in 2026. It's like, you know what? Just put it out in the air. That's fine. And whether or not people, you know, are interested in that doesn't matter to me. I'm going to do it. Whether it's my charity stuff, my volunteer stuff, and just general things that I try to do the world. I want to kind of put it on the platform now, and I feel like it can help. So look for that in the future. With all that being said, I do want to get into the actual series and get into some topics that you guys might want to tune in for. So first things first, you're watching the one and the only, the great Snake Eater, this remake to me personally, and I did a whole breakdown. I have literally 15 plus videos that I didn't publish last year when this game came out. I had a stack of them that I made and I just did not publish them. So it's not like I wasn't trying to cover it, guys. I just had a broken heart, broken spirit, and I had to take a break and things of that nature. So yeah, forgive me on that. At that being said, the first thing I want to acknowledge is I do have the giveaway for a Kojima signed poster and exclusive Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, Delta Snake Eater merch that Konami actually gave me, and it's exclusive. So for sure, that's gonna happen this year, and I'm just gonna do a casual announcement for it on social media, put it on Discord and all the platforms, and then have you guys have a chance to win. And so most likely this is going to be just commenting, and then we'll select a winner and announce it. Okay. But yeah, the game was amazing as far as the remake. You're watching the visuals and it just looks like a premium game. I didn't really think it would do what it did. At least for me, it was more like, we'll see what happens. You know, in the sense that I honestly, and I know that sounds like, really, you're a hardcore fan. The truth is that no matter how hardcore you can be, a remake can go very bad. And I just wasn't sure what they were capable of doing, because for me, not being able to destroy somebody's food supply in this game would have got me upset. And that is still in the game. And they left everything of the small mechanics that we love, well, I love, in the game. So the remake worked out for me as a hardcore fan. And people could tell you, oh, I don't like the filter, it's realistic, it's not the way the yellow. Like, dude, get over it. That's in the game. You can put that on if you want, or you can play it the way it looks now. It's up to you. But with all that being said, I personally really felt good about them keeping true to the game. It's a weird thing because now remakes are a standard in the industry, but I still never really care about remakes as much. There was only a few remakes that really made me want to play them, and this was one of them. And I'm so happy that they stayed true to Kojima. It was kind of like them saying, we love you, Kojima, we respect your work. And if they messed with it and turned it into something totally different, of course, you know, some people might be upset, but I personally love it when people are creative and they do new things. But I did feel like this masterpiece deserved to be a masterpiece. And the truth is, I probably won't be playing the old version for many years, or maybe ever. I don't know. This remake is just what I wanted, right? Modern graphics, better controls, things of that nature. Now, I want to talk about that and kind of get into the next topic, which y'all might like or dislike. You can agree or disagree on this point here, but I wasn't happy with the multiplayer. I pretty got sad. It was especially when I was heartbroken already and devastated, but Konami did not put in the effort and time to make an expansive multiplayer the way I wanted, which is, of course, I'm a hardcore player, so I wanted a full throttle investment into the multiplayer like most games do, where they want to kind of push their game and make it a big deal, right? That's not what we got. We barely got a multiplayer, basically. It's basically one mode with a couple of maps, right? And within that mode, it does have like a different setup to it. So it's like, hey, do you want to play this or that, right? Like there's two different versions of the mode. It's elimination rounds mode with capture or, you know, hold down a point. And those two modes to me aren't enough. And I'm going to go ahead and pause this and show you guys what exactly it is. So for those that probably didn't play it, this is the capture and this is the intrusion. Basically, you're playing 4 rounds trying to eliminate other teams, and they do have 3.5 maps. And basically, it's all about elimination. Every round you're trying to survive and do the objective. Capture the green frog or stay within the duck. And this is all they got. Now, this is a cool mode, and I actually like the conditions where it modifies the map a bit. And this is awesome to a certain extent, but it really isn't enough to hold off a fan base and to really like be substantial. So it's frustrating because like I told you guys, I would have loved to run some tournaments and do some special things. The issue is I can't run one tournament because there's PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. So I would have to make 3 different tournaments. And for a game that doesn't have a lot of popularity, it's very difficult to kind of coordinate. And I can probably put together a tournament anyways, but it's a lot more work for a game that isn't getting the support it deserves. And the truth is, I've become somebody who my time is very valuable. It's not so easy to just host so many things like I used to, where I was hosting leagues and so much more in the old days for Metal Gear and so on. So unfortunately, we might do one event and maybe one platform. And if you guys have a platform you would love to be in a tournament for, leave it in the comments. I'm going to think about it and see what we could do, but I'm not pushing it too hard. It's up to you. Okay. With that being said, I want to go into the third part, which is also up to you. And it's a big conversation and some news. So the producer was discussing the game, and they were recently asking him, hey man, like, what's going on? Can you give us an update on what's happening with this game? And, you know, he basically said, we're evaluating what to do next. And I don't believe that. I'm pretty sure he's already talked about the volume 2 in many ways, and so that is being worked on. The issue that I want to talk about with this, what's the future, is volume 2 isn't easy to make because you have to basically find a way to cut out a lot of content when it comes to part 4. And the reason part 4 is very difficult is they got a lot of marketing, in-game, you know, placement items that shouldn't be in the game, pretty much. And so very difficult to kind of evaluate and go through. And so those are the kind of things that are worrisome, in my opinion, and that we are not sure about how they want to go for the foreseeable future. Personally, just remove it, but fans like hardcore fans will probably be like, oh, they ruined the game, they took out this and they took out that. You know, even just small things like even when the monkey has a soda, right? Like just change the name of the soda. You make it sound so easy, and it's like, sure, you can do that. And then how about the iPad and all the music and all the advertisement in the iPad and, you know, things of that nature that are in the game? There's endless amounts of that stuff that they would have to redo. And it's not as easy as putting it in a volume 2. So my worry is that they won't do that, and they will say, we're going to remake part 4 because it's a lot of work to just put it into volume 2. We got to remove half the game. Might as well remake it. I don't want that. I want volume 4 the way it is, submitted, and then we'll play that, and they can remake it if they want later. But I would love for 2026 to be, hey, we got volume 2, it's coming out, you know, for the holidays. That is the dream scenario. I'm not sure if they're ready, and nobody knows that except the Konami staff, and even the staff probably don't know it because there's always programming issues, and you know, how far along is it? The producer said he doesn't want to talk about it until he feels like it's almost ready. So that means they're not even close to being ready. So that was a couple months ago. So with all that calculation that I'm doing, the question is also, what remake are they doing next? Because they've seen this one, it was received well, and I believe it sold some decent numbers. It wasn't some high and almighty numbers, but this is a game that has legs in the sense that I believe within the next months, people will pick it up on sale and it'll sell another million, you know, just off the cuff of word of mouth. That's how confident I am in the series. But the issue with that is it enough for Konami to say, okay, let's just remake another one? And if they do, they have to go with the most popular, because Snake Eater was one of the most popular. The next one would be part 1, part 2, and part 4 would be the next options. There's no other options, in my opinion, anymore. At first, I was hopeful that we'll get the 2 original pixelated 1980s games or something like that. But now I believe it's going to be only either 1, 2, and 4. They're not going to do something that's not so popular. And I believe 4 would be reasonable if they're having a hard time trying to take out all of the, you know, legal issues that they got in that one game. You know, the imprint of endless marketing and all that stuff is deep in there. So how would that go? And if they just cut it out, fans would be like, oh, they ruined the game. It's like, oh my gosh. From the very start of part 4, even the commercials that are in there, which is like the futuristic commercials, is a perfect example. So yeah, so make a choice. What would you want? Part 1, 2, or 4 to be the next remake? Totally happy with you guys deciding what you want, how you want to do it. Personally, I want what I want personally is the 2 pixelated games that nobody plays and nobody even knows if you're not like a hardcore fan, because they never had cinematics, voice actors, or anything, so they can redo them and it's not a remake. It's kind of like a brand new game. Introduce that, and you can make them one game in total, because they do have a theme of Venom and Big Boss, so you're battling both of those guys in part 1 and 2. So that's my opinion. That would be what I would do if I'm running Konami. It's like, hey, let's give them something new that they've never seen before. We're combining these games, and we can't call it a remake anymore. Maybe we could, but I'd rather not. And then the second half of that, and the conversation starter of the future, is, are they in the middle of working on a new game? And before I get into this topic, I do want to say that I'm worried about that. I would not want them to do one right away. And the reason for it is, I'm not that much of a fan of this Snake Eater Delta's mechanics as I am the Phantom Pain's. I feel like the Phantom Pain had the best movement and feel for CQC and certain things that it did very well. And of course, we can go back and be like, oh, part 4 was better, or whichever one you liked. I get that. But for me personally, I don't want them to just use the remake as the foundation for a new game. So the best example I'm going to give, and I'm going to pause this here and give you guys a quick look. In Delta, this is it right here, okay? And this is me crouching. This is me standing up. You know, I can roll. And, you know, it's fairly simple and straightforward. It's nothing complicated, and it's doable, and it's passable, and it's decent. But when you compare this to the Phantom Pain, it's like no comparison. Like, Phantom Pain has way better fluid mechanics. So if they're saying, hey, we're going to make a new game, new story, we're going to use the mechanics from Delta and just kind of do a story. Let's say it's about Big Boss after one of these missions where he's on a whole nother storyline before Peace Walker, or right after Peace Walker, whatever way you want it to go. Somewhere in between all that, right? Like, just something in the mission. These are the mechanics you'll get. I don't mind it because it has a lot of cool mechanics as far as like this camo and things of that nature. But I would prefer, as I said, either a brand new game or going back to the Phantom Pain. And that's another question I have for my community. You guys share what you guys are feeling best. Personally, I would want the Phantom Pain out of all the games. If I was just talking gameplay for them to make a new game with, that's the one that I would want the most. As far as a new game's mechanics, okay? Just remember, I'm talking mechanics here. Just movement with the player, things of that nature. Because that was the best in the series, in my opinion. But what would that be? And we're not going to do a full video on that because I'll be here all day, guys. You know me. But yeah, would that be some crazy story for Big Boss? Will they just forget about Big Boss and go Solid Snake? There's a lot of stories to tell with the 2 snakes. And of course, Raiden's a snake as well, but I consider him totally somebody different. He got the hack and slash. And imagine if they just, hey, we're just going to give you a hack and slash. I don't feel like that's the right move. And I know people are going to get mad that love that series, but Metal Gear hasn't had an original game in 10 years or more than 10. And if you just introduce Raiden a spin-off, another spin-off, you know, and it's like all the new kids are just going to think about a hack and slash, and Metal Gear is not a hack and slash. And while that spin-off was fun and enjoyable, I do believe they should stick to a true Metal Gear game if they're going to come back. Stay to the traditional, stick to the roots, and do everything that the actual game has and loves, that we love about it. Okay, whether it's cool boss fights, whether it's infiltrating bases and political nonsense and outrageous boss speeches, wherever and however you want to kind of present the game, it's something that we can get. If the developers really want to do it, I think they should stick to the Phantom Pain overall and then build off of it. Just my opinion, and we'll see where that goes. Again, I do believe they're talking about this more than us. Okay, this is their livelihood. So if you think about Konami, they have a lot of money makers, but Metal Gear is one of the most renowned games that they've ever had. It's been around over 30 plus years. So you think about how good this game has been. You got 9 chronological games that are Kojima based. And unfortunately, I'm going to say this out loud, which I wish I didn't have to. Spin-offs now can be canon. I don't like that. I've always been one of those, 9 games from Kojima are the only things that matter. And it's still going to be true forever. He's gone. But the future of the franchise, anything that they're making and the older games also are just like, hey, we can put it in there if it fits, right? And a lot of people say Portable Ops is officially canon. Kojima said, no, there's some things in there. And then you take Raiden's story, which isn't truly canon, but it's like, if you want to put it in there, go for it. These are things that, unfortunately, right now, Konami's future, no matter what game they make, it might be canon, guys. So what are we to do? That's just something, unfortunately, I've come to reality to say, and hopefully that helps you deal with whatever comes as well. But these are the kind of thoughts I've been thinking about. And what's cool is the fact that we are even having the conversations of these things. And I know for a fact Konami is also, and they've been working on prototypes, and there's people out there who love the game just as much as we do that are developers trying to get the ball rolling on a project. Whether it's the volume 2, which I do expect in the next 2 years. I believe, quote me on this, volume 2 for Metal Gear will not come out any later than 2027. Hate to say that, but maybe it'll come out next year if they're not ready by the end of this year. Normally it would be announced sometime this year, in the next 3 months, and then it'll release by the end of the year. But I do believe they have a Metal Gear Online project that they've been working on and trying to sort out. So that's a whole nother video. I have a bunch of videos that I made that I did not publish, and I'm gonna just redo them because it's 2026 and those things are like 3 months old. So we'll get into all of these topics individually, but expect big announcements for what's coming. All right, we'll probably get the volume 2 this year. This is my predictions. The final word is this will be the way that Konami can do it. They'll just say, hey, we give you volume 2 by the end of the year. Leave us alone. We're doing a remake. We got it in the works right now. We're going to announce that for 2027, and they'll probably tease it by the end of the year. So that'll be kind of the work low if we're lucky. And if we're not lucky, volume 2 comes out in 2027. Right? That's just my opinion. But we'll see. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Share your opinions, man. This is all conversation starters and just hanging out. Oh yeah, man. 2026 is changing for me. I'm still heartbroken. I'm still dead. I'm still rebuilding some tough stuff that's happened this year and last year. I'm just recuperating emotionally, to be honest with y'all, but I'm still here, man. I'm still, pushing through, thanking God for every day, blessed for another day, and we're going to keep on rocking. You dig? All right, y'all take care of yourself. Hit me up. I have different channels. Remember, I'm going to announce this from now on some of these videos. I got my NBA channel and my Mad Gamer channel. You can come hang there for other games. I don't want to flood this with too many videos. I want to just give you guys the goods and then be gone. So stay tuned, lock in. I'll see y'all very soon. Take care of yourself. Stay blessed. Peace.